Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. I'm Sha'de and today we're going to be talking about hair porosity. Some of you might know what hair porosity is, have a big idea, or some of you might not know at all. But hair porosity is something important to know. That way you can figure out what kind of hair products works best for your hair. So let's get into it. So to really understand what hair porosity is, you really need to understand the hair structure. So let's dive into that really quickly. So the first layer of the hair strand is the cuticle. The cuticle is the protective layer and is made of smaller cuticles overlapping each other. And then the next structure is the cortex. The cortex is the thickest layer of your hair, and that's where the fibrous proteins are, and that's where you get your pigment for your hair. And then the last structure is the medulla, which is the softest part and it's the central part of the hair strand. Your hair needs to be healthy. So in order for your hair to be healthy, your hair needs to get all the water and moisturizing products into the hair. So that means the water and moisturizing product needs to penetrate the medulla. So it needs to get through the cuticle and it needs to get through the cortex in order to get to the medulla. So hair porosity deals mainly with the cuticles, the outer layer, in order to penetrate the hair strands. So for low porosity hair, that means your cuticles are more closer together, more tightly bound. And then for medium porosity, that means it's more there's little gaps for the water to get through and it's still easily retained. And then for higher porosity hair, that means the cuticles are farther apart, there's bigger gaps in the hair. So when it comes to causes of hair porosity, it's mainly genetics. So if your family has low porosity hair, you're more likely to get low porosity hair. But then there's like drying, overwashing, bleaching your hair, coloring your hair, straightening your hair, all those things, and harsh products. All those things can actually change your hair porosity to like a higher one because it's pulling away the cuticles and it's raising them up to make more gaps. But these things can be minimized and these things can be maintained as well. So if you have low porosity hair, because the cuticles are closer together, which means it's preventing the water from penetrating the cuticles and getting to the medulla. For low porosity hair also, it means like hair products usually just sit on top of your hair and not absorb. So it's quicker to build product buildup. And then also it's hard for your hair to get saturated during wash day. When you're washing your hair, it's harder for the water to saturate and make your, wet your hair up. And then also it just takes your hair longer to dry. So that's like low porosity hair. For medium porosity hair, that means the cuticles are more evenly gapped or there's enough space. They're not too far apart to allow water to penetrate the cuticles and go into the medulla, and also be easily retained. So medium porosity hair can usually stay more hydrated faster, or longer I should say, and will be less dry. Your hair doesn't get dry faster. They can handle color. So when you're coloring your hair is able to take on that color more easily because it's penetrating the cortex that holds the pigment of your hair. It's always important when you have medium porosity hair to be mindful of the amount of heat that you're using on your hair. Now, when it comes to higher porosity hair, that means your hair has more gaps. The cuticles are widely gapped. For higher porosity hair, your hair dries too quickly and it's more prone to breaking because it's so dry and brittle. Also, when going into being drier, that means high porosity hair tends to be more frizzy and more dry. So water for high porosity hair and other products can be absorbed really quickly. So for wash day, you could be washing your hair, and if your hair dries really fast right after wash day, you might have high porosity hair because it's drinking in all that water and all those hydrating products and moisturizing products, which makes your hair tend to be more drier and more prone to breakage. So when it comes to products for low porosity hair, you want to focus on protein-free conditioners because they're more easily absorbed into your hair, and it prevents product buildup because of the protein, and the protein struggles to penetrate low porosity hair. Also, you want to apply your conditioner when your hair is really wet. That way the conditioner is diluted with the water and mixes in and is more easily absorbed into your hair, and it can penetrate your hair and give your hair the nutrients that it needs. You also want to look for shampoos and conditioners that are oil-free and contain ingredients like glycerin and honey. Those are humectants, like I mentioned before in a previous video, that helps draw in more water and helps hydrate your hair. Lastly, for low porosity hair, you really want to condition your hair using heat. So you might want to put a plastic bag over your hair and put a blow dryer on it while you're conditioning, or you can steam your hair to allow more of the product to penetrate your hair and get into the medulla. Now, when it comes to high porosity hair, you want to look for shampoo and conditioners that have oils and butters in it. That way it can help seal in the hydration so it can moisturize your hair. You want to use leave-in conditioners and sealers to, again, lock in the hydration and moisturize your hair, because you really need to focus on moisture retention, which is moisturization. Once you are able to get water hydration into your hair, once you're able to hydrate your hair and get water in, you really want to focus on sealing that in. So when it comes to shampoos and conditioners, you want to make sure they have butters or like a sealant in them. Lastly, for high porosity hair, you want to make sure you're avoiding hot water when you're washing your hair, because again, it just helps your hair dry out faster. So when you're washing your hair, you should use lukewarm water to make sure you're getting all the product buildup off, but not make sure it's not too hot. That way it's not drying your hair out faster than it already naturally is. Okay, now since we've talked a lot about hair porosity products and what to do and how to take care of your hair, I wanted to also talk about how you can test your hair to see what hair porosity you're at. So there's two ways to tell what your hair porosity is. One way to see what your hair porosity is to get a cup of water, a glass of water, fill it up about halfway or so. You don't really need too much water. And then you make sure your hair is clean, washed and fresh, and dry. And then you just take a piece of your hair strand, and then just drop it into the water. Then from there, if your hair sinks to the bottom, that means your hair is high porosity, it's drinking up all the water. And then if your hair strand is like floating in the middle, that means your hair is more medium porosity. And then when your hair strand is at the top of the water, that means your hair is more low porosity, so the water didn't really get into the hair strand. The other way to tell what your hair porosity is you can take a little piece of your hair strand and you just rub your finger up and down. And if it's smooth, that means your hair is low porosity because the cuticles are all overlapped and they're together. If your hair strand feels a little bumpy, that means your hair is high porosity because the cuticles are far apart and they're raised up, so there's gaps there. Yeah, that's all I had for this video. Thank you for watching. I hope this helps. If you have any questions, please let me know down in the comments below. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you like this video. Hit the notification button too so you know when the next video is coming out. You can also follow me on Instagram, now on TikTok too. They're also down below, and I'll see you next time. Bye.